We're back with Senator Kamala Harris, and judges we have to live with. And by the way, I just want to say your impassioned speech on the anti-lynching bill on the floor the other day was absolutely phenomenal. I know that Rand Paul is I can say this. I know you don't want to. He's a grandstander. He's a resident contrarian. Blocks this legislation for no apparent reason. I think just to get some attention. And I personally believe there's a racial component involved in that, but that's just my opinion. But what I want to ask you about, with all this change and all these young voices out here, judges we have to live with, can we hold prosecutors to a higher standard? Because part of the problem when a police officer commits a crime like murder, they're not worried about doing time because the prosecutor in some cases is in cahoots. How can we resolve that issue?
So let me tell you, as a former prosecutor, and this is part of what we have in our legislation, that all of us as members of the Congressional Black Caucus yesterday presented our legislation, Cory Booker, my brother in the Senate, and then the members in the House. One of the pieces that I strongly believe is very important as a former prosecutor is that when you're talking about police who have engaged in excessive force, who have broken the rules and the law, it should not be the DA's office or the state attorney's office that works with that police department every day that is investigating that conduct. Because no matter how well-intentioned that prosecutor might be, the reality is that there is the appearance of a conflict. And part of the whole system of justice and the ideal that we need to reach is not only that justice does occur, but that there is also an appearance of justice and fairness. And so part of what we're arguing for is that there be independent investigations. So it would never be the DA's office that works with that police department every day that's investigating that police officer from that department.
Gotcha.
It would be an independent investigator.
Okay, that makes sense.
We're saying that we need pattern and practice investigations. When I was Attorney General of California, I instigated and initiated pattern and practice investigations of law enforcement agencies that were accused of and had a pattern of discrimination. So we have that in the bill to say that the Department of Civil Rights of the Department of Justice should have subpoena power to go after and get the evidence when it occurs. Unlike what's happening under the Trump administration with Bill Barr as Attorney General, which is they've been practically shutting those things down, we need to build those back up. We're saying we need to have a national standard for excessive force. Why? Well, because right now, when you look at the issue, when courts are looking at the issue, Russ, they ask the question essentially for most jurisdictions, that if it's excessive force, they ask the question, well, was it reasonable? Well, you can reason away just about anything.
Right.
Instead, the fair question is to ask, was it necessary?
Exactly.
And so that's what we're trying to change.
Well,
and the whole package of bills is really about saying we need accountability and consequence when police officers break the rules and break the law. But it does not address the bigger issue, which is how we create safe and healthy communities, and we need to deal with that, too.
Well, I'm glad that you're in the forefront and you're fighting for that. Senator Kamala Harris, I got to go, but I just want to say my airwaves are open to you whenever you want to talk, because I know you're in there fighting. And thank you so much.
Thank you for your voice. Thank you. It's good to be with you this morning. Okay,
thank you. Bye-bye.